This is Cameron from Xoid.com, and I'm showing you my finally completed NES retro gaming computer. My goal with this build was basically to build a computer into a Nintendo Entertainment System while retaining the stock look. You know, no backplate, you know, no outside visual changes. It's not screwed down, obviously, so I can show you how it all works. If you look on this side, everything looks stock. The rear has all the original connectors. There's nothing that would distinguish this NES as different from any other system. But let me show you how I did the inside. So here you can see we've got my favorite little mini ITX board, the Intel D201 GLY2. This one has a video out. As you can see there, I've modified an S-video adapter out to go to the composite. It's wired up to the original RF adapter. That's a composite out. I used the original power input casing of the Nintendo and wired up basically this Pico PSU. It's a 90 watt power supply, which is more than enough for a system of this size. There's a 160 SATA hard drive underneath this motherboard mounted, and as you can see here, it's got 802.11g wireless, and the front controller ports have been wired up to the USB headers. So if I plug in original NES controllers to this, they'll work with the computer, which is pretty neat. So let's go ahead and hook it up, and I'll show you how it looks. Some of the way that I got away with keeping the stock look is some clever design, which I'll show you. Basically, this NES looks like any other, but the original Nintendo had this adapter plate underneath here, which I converted into a USB hub. So I'm going to set the camera down so you can see it, but one moment. As you can see, that backplate just pops right off, and I have 4 USB ports right there. That allows me to hook up 4 64 controllers to play some Smash Brothers. As this will be a retro gaming computer, and we'll have all the emulation and all the games on it, which will be pretty nice. We'll boot it up, and I'll show you how the front end looks and how I get away with using all the games. So now with the NES PC all hooked up, using all the standard connections, this is actually part of the old Nintendo cord, although it's been adapted for 12 volts DC. So I'm going to power this up. You can see the original LED works. We have these 2 original controllers connected in to the standard port that works with the USB. And we'll let this boot up here, and I'll show you the interface. Some people asked why I didn't use like a VGA connection or a component connection, and just used a composite video. But the thing about this machine is it's meant to be a retro gaming machine, and it's going to play Super Nintendo, Nintendo, and Nintendo 64 games. And all those original consoles had were composite out. So that's kind of the reason why I decided to stick with the original controllers. Although the video quality is not as good, these games that are going to be played on it aren't meant to be seen at high res anyways. So that's kind of the reason why I went down that path. The software I'm using, as you can see here, is GameX. Great program. Recommend getting it, registering it. You won't regret it. It's basically your only option in this type of retro gaming if you want a smooth looking interface. It utilizes the original game controllers. This software basically can pick up any gamepad and you can control it using the interface here. So I'm using these original controllers. I can scroll through. I'll go to my emulated games. Go to the Nintendo games. We'll pull up some Super Mario Bros. 3. So as you can see, looks just like the original. Okay, so here's Mario Brothers, and with this original controller, it feels exactly like the real thing, you know, and that processor's powerful enough to play this game, you know, full speed. Of course, it's, you know, the original Nintendo only had like a 1.25 megahertz processor, I believe, so we're timesing that by 1,000 about. So anyways, to get back to your game mode, you hit select and start at the same time, and that's kind of a feature of GameX, and that brings you back to the menu and you can select another game. So I'm going to show you another game, and for this one I'm using the USB hub with the Xbox 360 controller, and we're going to play some Smash Brothers. And I've actually hooked up 4 controllers to this, and it plays flawlessly. You're able to play against each other, and it feels pretty much exactly like the real thing, other than the controller isn't quite the same layout as the Nintendo 64 controller, but once you get used to it, you know, it's every bit as good. Xbox 360 controller is pretty good on its thumb pad and everything, and as you can see, you know, this is smooth as silk, responsive as I hit the buttons, and it's pretty awesome. So, and just like the other one, if I hit these 2 buttons at the same time, it'll close it and bring me back to the menu. So basically that's my Nintendo retro gaming PC, and hope you enjoyed. Thanks.